Wow. So all of this is just orchestrated.
I mean, yeah, I don't mean to imply that there's like 6 shadowy dudes around a table with the Illuminati sign in the center. That is not at all what I'm implying, but it is orchestrated in the sense that, like, imagine all the giant piles of money that these various groups and people have. Like Bill Gates has his pile of money, the World Economic Forum and their friends have their piles of money, BlackRock has their pile of money, all these different people, and there's governments involved in that too. And all those piles of money represent massive amounts of leverage and influence. And most of them tend to align on most things. Like, most of them do not want a strong, educated, intelligent American populace,
Right.
because it doesn't benefit any of them. Most of them do not want healthy young Americans that are fit and capable and having strong marriages and strong families, because that doesn't benefit any of them. It's like, so on a lot of these issues that feel like some grand conspiracy, you don't need a grand conspiracy, because incentives are all aligned. Every one of them makes money if we're all fat and sick and depressed, whether it's because they're selling us drugs, or it's because they're selling us advertising, or it's because they just need us to stay the fuck out of their political process so they can run their show the way they want.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just interest alignment. Like, the world is 8 billion people. So there's 8 billion different people at the table that are influencing the world. But most of us are just regular people that only have one person's worth of influence. And then you get the Bill Gateses of this world that represent like billions of dollars worth of interest, who's like, I'm going to vaccinate all of Africa with these experimental drugs that just so happen to sterilize millions of people against their consent. Or I'm going to test out remdesivir in Africa, and it killed remdesivir, the COVID drug that he pushed on us. It killed more than 50% of the people in this trials.
Holy crap.
It's crazy, dude. The story of remdesivir's trials in 2019, I'm pretty sure it was, maybe 2018. It's crazy what happened in the remdesivir trials in Africa. And I'm pretty sure they were testing it on Ebola, trying to see if it would help for Ebola.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that they had to shut the trials down after a couple months, because it was just clearly killing people. And then it became our wonder drug for COVID, because they could make a shitload of money off of it. And because it was a treatment after you're so sick you're in the hospital, rather than a preventative that would stop them from having their emergency use authorization. And that information is all sourced and cited in RFK's book, The Real Anthony Fauci. Everyone should read that book.
That is nuts. Yeah, I know he's buying up farmland. He's trying to do fake meat companies.
Yeah, Bill Gates is a madman. And I more and more suspect that it is not just like him being naive and just doing billionaire things. I more and more suspect that it is some sort of, I hesitate to say agenda, but kind of an agenda.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what it is, but it's fucking evil. It's not good.
I mean, there's that wild theory of the depopulation agenda.
Well, yes, because that is this eugenicist trend in science that's been always been around. This idea that if you really get scientific enough about it, some people suck and some people rock. And if we really wanted to be really fucking evil about it, it's true that the world would be better off with all the good people and none of the bad people. And so there's always been this problem with scientific minds, men especially, where if you get rational enough, you can justify killing off all the bad people, whether that's extermination camps or whether that's depopulation or sterilization. Eugenics has always been a problem. And Bill Gates is openly a eugenicist, and he openly talks about overpopulation as this massive problem. And when you actually look at his solutions, it basically comes down to they're implementing population reduction by making it so that poor people die and rich people live. And whether that's through vaccinating poorer countries and it happens to sterilize a bunch of people on accident, or whether it's through just quality of living is so bad that poor people can't afford to have kids, or poor people are killing each other in the streets or starving to death. Those kinds of things are eugenicist policies, whether intended or not, because they're killing off what they see as undesirables. Because if you can't make it in this modern capitalist world, you're not good enough. And we're the ones that understand the system. So we deserve to, have 19 kids or whatever the fuck it is, 13 kids. So it really is sinister. And when you dig into history of groups like the Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum, they have very clear roots in straight up eugenics. And a lot of their founding members and people that have been involved in those sort of globalist groups, you can find speeches of them on record talking about how the world would be a better place if we had more desirables and shit like that.
That is so wild. Because some of the most successful people I know come from impoverished households.
Exactly.
Really poor upbringings.
Exactly. And some of the, you never know. So I worked in teaching as a younger person. My parents were teachers. And the number one thing you learn when you actually work with young people is that you never know what kind of gifts a young person has. And especially young people that come from struggle, that come from poverty, they often they become the strongest people so often. And And if you had a system that was truly trying to elevate young people, teach them well, and to give them what they needed to thrive, we would have such a better world. But instead, we have the system that intentionally does not educate young people and puts them at every disadvantage and tries to actively take them away from their parents. So the state has control over their education so that we can educate a bunch of mindless little drones that will just go along with a mask mandate, that will go along with vaccines that aren't tested. Because the more of that institutionalized prison-like education you give to American kids when they're young, the more they're going to accept that institutionalized prison-like condition when they're adults.
Right. Was the pandemic one of the first ones you looked into?
Yeah, well, the pandemic was what really woke me up. Is like I had a lot of these tendencies in my personality before I started doing this research, but I grew up a liberal, and like I grew up in Washington State, just totally not paying attention, and I wasn't engaged with it. I just was uninformed.
Yeah.
And I was like out in the woods running and doing rock climbing and snowboarding and shit. Like I didn't care. And then the pandemic hit, and it's in all of our homes and all of our faces, and they're like taking away our liberties. And I'm like literally running multiple ultra marathons a week as a running guide, and they're telling me that I need to take an experimental medication because I can't survive what is essentially a cold.
Yeah.
When I've already had it once and I have natural immunity. It's like the questions just did not add up. And then I'm a younger brother, and when someone starts to like try to control me and hold me down, it's like, fuck you. I will fucking die over this shit. Like the more you try to take away my free speech, the more free speech I'm going to do. The more you try to take away my liberties, the more I will rebel. And so I just didn't go anywhere. Like my whole town, everywhere wanted vaccine passports. Like, fuck you. I won't give you my business. I'll go to the gym that lets me in, and I'll work out every fucking day and get bigger and stronger. I will stay at home and do research and learn and get smarter. And I'll just do that until the world opens back up. You don't fucking get my money anymore.
Yeah.
And I never went to any of those businesses again. The ones that required vaccine passports, fuck them. I'm not giving you my business.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.